A blazing fireball reduces a $1 million boat to a worthless pile of ash and sends Saeed Al Taya and Felix Sorales jumping for their lives. Just another ordinary day at the races in the world of offshore powerboats. Welcome to round 4 of the Class 1 Championship. I'm Barry Nutley. While the remains of Victory 5 lie at the bottom of the fjord at Arundel, we've moved on to Istanbul. But the paddock talk is still about the dramatic events in Norway.
It was an experience that I hope we don't have to go through again.
The explosion must have been awesome because it blew the whole deck off.
The boat just literally exploded, gone. It was doing 100 mile an hour when it exploded. I couldn't comprehend that anyone would get out of it.
We're very fortunate that they were okay and unhurt. We're going to look at some things. Obviously, we'll pay particular attention to fuel leaks and things that when you start getting vapors in the cockpit, it's time to stop.
Sadly, although Saeed Al Taya did escape from his burning boat, he couldn't escape a stomach bug that has left him unable to travel to Turkey. But the Victory team does have a full lineup. An old boat has been brought out of retirement for the race, and a new number 5 is scheduled to be unveiled in Dubai in November. For the first time, the championship has moved to Istanbul, where the race is down the Bosphorus, the ancient line dividing east from west. It's a new experience for all concerned, and the teams are literally racing into the unknown. The course runs some 11 nautical miles down the winding Bosphorus. Spectacular views for the spectators, some hard work ahead for the drivers.
Today it was very exciting because you have still all the ferries running and you have waves that you don't expect. You expect it flat, you turn a curve and you find a big wave and you're up in the air. So today it was very exciting today. I hope it's going to be less exciting tomorrow.
We haven't got enough room, especially on the top turn under the bridge. It's going to be pretty hairy on the first 2 or 3 laps until we sort ourselves out, but I'm sure we'll all be okay.
When we arrived and sort of looked at the course, we thought, oh, this is going to be a very fast race, but now I don't think it is. It's quite complicated. There's a lot of currents from different directions and a lot of wind from different directions, so it'll be a real sort of driver's circuit.
The tight end turns may be a blessing in disguise for some of the boats, as a good run here could owe as much to driver skill as to high technology. So, just about halfway into the season, how do the teams line up? Boat number 1, Bilba, awesomely fast with around 500 horsepower more than their nearest rivals, but as yet unable to finish a single race. At the throttle, 52-year-old Italian millionaire Edoardo Polli, with Saudi Arabia's Laith Farron at his side.
Tuesday's your birthday. What's the best present you could have?
You tell me. I think we all know what that is. Hopefully, we can come out here with a win, and put the monkey on somebody else's back.
Boat 3, Ken Thorne and Matteo Nicolini. The only British driver in the series, so far Ken has lost his rudder in Bari and his bottom in Norway, but is looking decidedly perky in Turkey.
Yeah, we had a little bit of a chill out early on in the morning. The sun was nice, so I walked away from everybody and just snuck a couple of hours just relaxing. First time for many, many, many days.
Next come the 3 Victory boats from Dubai. Number 4, Kalfan Harib and Mohammed Al Gaith in the brand new Mike Peters design cat.
We're just very satisfied with the boat performance, and we know there is a lot of potential in the boat.
Number 5, Felix Sorales, with long-time team mechanic Henry Simon taking the place of the absent Al Taya. And Victory 7, winners in Norway, Randy Schism at the throttle and Ali Nasser at the wheel.
We really enjoyed that race. It was a good race for us. We fought hard and got a good result, so we're hoping we can get a repeat performance.
Al Taya and Sorales weren't the only couple to have a narrow escape in the last action-packed race. Tommaso Polli and Vinicio Simoni had to swim for it when their boat sank. Nastro Azzurro drifted out to sea and is now a hazard to shipping somewhere off the Norwegian coast. So there's no ride for Tommaso, and Vinicio is working behind the scenes for the remaining team boat.
Any thoughts about the disaster in Norway? Does it make you worry?
No, not at all. It can happen. You know, when you race with boats, a boat, with a car, with everything, you know that you can lose something. It's important that nobody will get hurt. That is the most important.
Having come halfway round the world to compete, Bill Barry Cotter and Keith Hansen find themselves struggling and in need of a morale boost.
We've had just about everything that could go wrong. So we're hoping now this will change it. So that's all we need, I think, now from here on's a bit of luck.
All Massimo Lippi wants is a win. The throttle man of Jolly Motor is fed up with coming second. Ex-Ferrari F1 driver Lamberto Leoni knows what he has to do.
This night I start 10 or 12 times in my dream, but all time I have one little problem. But I think it's necessary turn for first. And when you turn for first, you have one big advantage because you look where is the best line for turn, and you look the turn for next line again, next corner again, and you have one big advantage. I think it's exactly the same start in one Monte Carlo or in one short circuit.
There's only one place to be after the start, eh?
Yeah, I try, but I think it's too difficult because I look for the propeller. It's too short yesterday, but I think it's good. One short propeller for one good acceleration. But I think I have some problem in the middle of the race.
Bjorn Yelston and Steve Curtis are no strangers to winning. Victories in Bari and St. Petersburg gave Spirit of Norway a commanding lead in the championship.
I think we've really got to go for at least another 1 or 2 wins this season. This race is going to be tough to decide what we're going to do because it should be very close racing, very difficult to overtake. So if we sit back in second or third and we can pull it off at the end, we will do, but otherwise we're just going to try and get in the top 3.
The first high-speed action on the river comes on Saturday afternoon, the pole position race. The fastest boat over a measured kilometre gets the points. Ken Thorne has always believed his boat has the potential to mix it with the best, and for the first time this year, things seem to be coming right as Caesar Marine sets the 4th fastest time in the pole race. Third is Victory 4, sending a very clear message to the other teams that the new boat will be a force to be reckoned with. On their second run, they clocked just over 230 kilometres per hour. Second fastest, Spirit of Norway. Unlike the others, Yelston and Curtis are faster on their first run than their second. 14.35 seconds, equivalent to a speed of 238 kilometres per hour. But there's no surprise that it's Polly and Farron in Bilba who are fastest, as they have been in every previous pole this year. The only boat to complete the run in less than 14 seconds, with an average speed of over 152 miles per hour, that's over 246 kilometres an hour, takeoff speed for some aircraft.
You get to very high speeds in your boat. It is the fastest boat. Everybody acknowledges that. How does that feel?
Oh, it feels good. I mean, but it's, you know, it's not true that it's the fastest boat, you know. I mean, the boat of Bjorn and Steve last year has done a higher top speed last year already. Higher top speed than I have done. Let's say that what my boat has, you know, compared to what diesel has today, I mean, my diesel anyway, compared to Lamborghini, has a higher acceleration. It doesn't have a higher top speed.
Eduardo's boat is the fastest one in the circuit, and on this flat water, he should have an advantage. If the reliability is there, I think he'll walk away with it.
It's an 8-round series, and the championship is still there to be won.
It's we have really. I'm not saying we have. You know, we have to win tomorrow. You know, if we start winning tomorrow and we win the next couple of races, I still think we can do it. But of course, that depends also what Bjorn is going to do. We are a little bit late in starting, I must say, honestly. But not everything is lost anyway.
Istanbul's stunning location has been a magnet for mankind for over 7,000 years. The first great city, Byzantium, was leveled to make way for the Emperor Constantine's new capital of the Roman Empire. Conquered by the Ottomans to become the capital of another empire, now it's Istanbul, the gateway between East and West. Religions meet and mingle here too. Witness the great Blue Mosque built in the 17th century and the Hagia Sophia, sometimes described as the 8th wonder of the world. The The streets are lined with small shops and markets where everything is for sale, and haggling for the best deal is a centuries-old tradition. The Bosphorus Straits divide and define the city. Lined by palaces and fortresses, the river traffic ranges from rowing boats to supertankers, which, despite the best efforts of the local drivers, move a lot faster than the road traffic. There's an old saying that says an army marches on its stomach. The same is true about offshore powerboating. While the Victory squad is far from dominant in this year's championship, they simply can't be beaten in the cooking stakes.
Every single person with us has access to the hospitality. The dinners and lunches are first class. Today we're having shawarmas as well, and it makes for a good day.
The catering manager is as proud of his achievement in the kitchen as the team is of victory on the water.
We need to cook to suit the taste for everyone. We have the Asian, the vegetarian people, the European, the Arab, and so we have about normally 6 to 7 main dish in every meal.
Fresh vegetables are often bought locally, but the meat is prepared, deep frozen, and shipped out from Dubai. This also includes some marine delicacies found in other waters. This small truck offers a choice of 6 main courses and caters for over 150 people each day.
We have specialist cook because we have Iranian cook, we have Egyptian cook, we have Indian cook, so all these people, everyone is specialist in something. And we have also some special dessert, pastry.
Oh, it's excellent, especially the shawarmas. They make the best shawarmas in the world, I think.
The team is working really very hard, and they need to feed him so he can do the job well.
So I think it's fair to say that right now this is probably the best restaurant in town, is it?
Yes, you can say this.
It takes 2 to make these boats dance on the waves, a driver responsible for steering and navigation, and alongside him, the throttle man.
Well, really, it's to keep the whole thing running as quickly as possible across the water. And that we can do by adjusting all the trim of the boat, which is where the propellers come out the back. We've got flaps, we've got water tanks. So it's basically like flying a plane, but keeping the propellers in the water.
The boats tend to fly so that the boats are in and out of the water, so that the propellers are in and out of the water, so that you have to time the throttling so that the engines in fact don't over-rev or free flight as we call them.
If it's flat, you can pretty much hold them wide open, but if it's rough, you've got to constantly pull off as the boat leaves the water. Otherwise, the over-revs will take out an engine.
So we try to get into a rhythm where we're dancing with the waves, we're jumping from one to the next, and that's just what you're doing with the throttle. You jump, you give it gas to jump, and then you're off when the boat is in the air, and when you land, you have to give it gas again, and you're off up in the air again.
The whole thing's done on feel. I mean, obviously the speedo's your telltale, and if it's running a mile an hour quicker, well, you leave it there. But then it gets to the point when, you know, you might be running a mile an hour faster, but the bow's too high, and you'll hit a slight wave and slow down 4 miles an hour. So it's a really seat of the pants type thing.
Ideally, just the back of the boat and the propellers are in the water, but on a course that's moving in all directions, and with the added element of the wind, that's not as easy as it sounds.
At the speeds we're doing, it really has a lot of effect. You've going to be on and off the throttle and trying to correct the boat against the wind. You know, it'll change the boat 8 to 10 degrees in the space of a few seconds.
We're going 250 kilometers per hour. And let's say a 747 takes off at 300 kilometers per hour. So, and we have more wing surface than he has. That's explain why the boats fly and why the boats flip. If you don't, run them properly today. You are really something between an airplane and a boat today.
As technology advances, the throttle man finds himself having to deal with far more than just the engines.
On this side, we have a transmission. We have 4 speeds, neutral plus 4 speeds. They've got them gated so that you don't over jump and go to the 2 or 3 gears at a time. So each time you come back or forward, you have to change direction as well. To better suit the boat for different conditions, you'll be in a head sea in part of the course, you'll be in a following sea. It's very critical to get the right propeller, but it's also very critical to have the right gear. It makes them much more, the average speed will be up much more than the older days when we had just a single speed transmission.
5 years ago, it was impossible to run in this speed. But the boat development, the throttleman development, maybe one throttleman 15 years ago to win everything with the monohull boats, and then no win nothing now. Today is a new generation of throttlemen, and maybe after 5 years, the new generation again because to change the technical of the building the boats.
But when you're racing with a top throttle man, you know what to expect.
I've never had a driver tell me to go faster, ever. I've had plenty say slow down.
As the teams warm up for the race, a remarkable story starts to emerge from the Riviera camp. The team, which has been dogged by bad luck all season, might now well have found the cause for their latest run of misfortune.
We ran the boat in Arundel. The boat was perfect, and we had a mishap there with an engine mounting. Cleaned the boat up, painted it, left one mechanic with it to bring it to right through Germany to Italy. Boat arrives here. We've got contaminated fuel in the boat that was very deliberately done. That's taken us 2 days to find, and now what we've got is all our injectors varnished up, so we will start, but all we can do is just go around very slowly and hopefully burn the residue of the contaminated fuel out. And the other problem is we'd found some acid in our drive yesterday, on Tuesday, first day, so we've got a suspicion who it is, but time will tell.
I mean, that's dreadful. That's a grudge match, but you're not saying it's one of the other teams?
Definitely not one of the other teams, no. No, I think it's a disgruntled ex-employee. So, but we'll have to keep looking and hopefully we'll prove it one day.
The magical city of Istanbul straddles the Bosphorus, and it's on that beautiful stretch of water that we find ourselves for round 4 of the 1998 Class 1 Offshore Powerboat Championship. It's been a stunning series so far, but the clear leader with a 13-point advantage, the number 10 Spirit of Norway boat, not exactly romping away, but they're certainly doing a good job on this championship. The 2 victory boats in there in close pursuit, number 9 Jolly Motor, yet to get a win. Maybe their fortunes will change here in Turkey. 11 boats entered here for Istanbul, but regrettably only 10 will make the actual start because the bottom boat on this list, the number 22 Nastro Azzurro, despite having practiced, did not emerge from the wet pit for the actual race. But the important thing is all the key players are there. Bilba, the victory boats, Immersion, Jolly Motor, the number 9 boat, obviously hoping for a good race this time. Boats emerging from the pit, and number 10, Spirit of Norway Championship leader. Number 8, the Immersion boat. Already a problem with Bilba. Now that could be something of a catastrophe. They've got a boat alongside there looking at it. Jolly Motor on its way, but Bilba already in trouble. Let's hope they get that sorted for the flag. It's approximately 11-mile circuit here. There is a very, very good start run down from the Sea of Marmara. The Bosphorus, of course, separating the continents of Europe and Asia. Having run all the way down to the bottom, almost turning round by the finish, the left-hander, they then commence, shall I say, full 10 laps, 120 nautical miles full race distance. So a lot to go for here. The rules state that the boats must run at least 5 miles before the first turn, and as you can see, they do 7 here. The Istanbul Grand Prix underway here in Turkey. The boat's heading now towards this first turn buoy, which will be a left-hander, but they have a long, straight dash down the avenue. I can only call it the avenue. The Bosphorus here really quite narrow. One or two of the drivers earlier on were expressing concern about the possible dangers here. Could be quite horrendous when they're all bunching up going towards the front turn. The two victory boats running very well. Jolly Motor also had a good start. The number 10 Spirit of Norway, leader of the championship, going well from the outset. They have 11 laps to run, I remind you. They run all the way down. In fact, this city of 14 million people, it looks to me as though almost half of them are crowding the shoreline here. Tremendous spectator turnout, very, very warm. The sun, mercifully, has gone in for the start of the race. The number 13 Brazil boat as well, showing very well in the early stages. I think finishing the race will be something of an achievement for that boat, and really the same holds true because we've already had one non-starter in the very early stages of the warm-up, not even making it to the start. Number 22 Nastro Azzurro is a retirement, so as of yet we are down to 10 boats. It also looked as though number 3 Bilba was a bit sick, but it's running, it's up and running. Bilba going then. They were pushing black smoke out of that port engine on their way down to the start, but they are up and running. I'm reunited with Richard Lawson, the man who stood in with me at Bari in the first round. Richard, a former world champion back in 1990. Richard, what's your view on this course?
Well, this is a very tight course, Barry. Very, very tight at all. It's long straights with some very tight turns. We're going to have a lot of problems down at the bottom end of the course, which is very narrow. Turns G and G1 and S down before the start will cause a lot of problems to those boats that don't have gearboxes.
Number 9, the Jolly Motorboat, running 4th in the championship with 30 points. The leader, Spirit of Norway, with 52 points, so only 22 points the gap. There is the good opportunity here to pull back 20 points on the leader, 20 for the win. They score 15 for second, 12 for third. And Massimo Lippi, Lamberto Leoni, the all-Italian pairing in the Jolly Motorboat, need the points. But they're the championship leader, Spirit of Norway, Bjorn Yelston at the wheel. Steve Curtis on the throttles. They made a late propeller change this morning to get things right, but they're running neck and neck. Richard, it's not the first time we've seen these two boats that close.
They're very, very, very similar in build. They've got both of them have got Lamborghini engines, both built out of the same composite from the same yard. And speaking with Massimo Lippi this morning, he said that the most important thing is to get to the first turn first, and I think he's just done it.
Well, you have a former Ferrari F1 test driver in that grey boat, the number 9 boat, but the boat we're looking at now, Spirit of Norway. We got the distinct impression when we spoke to them earlier this morning that they were feeling comfortable about leading the championship, but I think they've got a fight on their hands now because Massimo Lippi has not won a race since 1991. It's been something of a famine for him, and he would very much like to get not just on the rostrum. He has been second on a number of occasions, but he wants to win the race. We're riding with them now. The man at the wheel, Lamberto Leoni. It's Massimo Lippi on the throttles, the man on the left, controlling everything there, controlling the speed, the power of the engines, the two V12 8-litre Lamborghini engines, and away they go.
This morning we spoke with Steve Curtis, who said that he'd like to be second or third during the race and just use his throttles at the last moment. He says he doesn't fancy leading from the front, and I think he's doing exactly what he said.
On lap 2, also running well in this race, number 3, Ken Thorne. He's been going superbly well in practice. We're looking at him now. That's Ken Thorne from Cardiff, the 1997 Class 2 champion. Alongside him, Matteo Nicolini, the man, the Italian, who designed and built that boat, which keeps it's kept on the Lake Como in Italy. But Jolly Motor now, the all-Italian pairing, running well, showing a clean pair of heels. But this is a touch of deja vu, Richard. We've seen them in this position before.
Yes, we have, and the problem is that you don't win a race until you get to the end, and finishing is the important part. And I have some sad news for you that Eduardo Poli is currently running in last or one but last position. He's seriously got a problem, and he's struggling just to keep going. I've looked at his port engine. He's blowing a serious amount of smoke. and I would guess he's got turbocharger problems.
Number 13, Brazil, who brought something of a carnival atmosphere here to Turkey. With them they brought dancers, Brazilian drums. It really was a fantastic festival. The far turn with race leader Jolly Motor, second place Spirit of Norway. The victory boats running third, fourth and fifth. And the number 7 victory boat there, interestingly enough, has Henry Simon at the wheel in place of the man Saeed Al-Taya, who was pitched into the water in Norway when the boat exploded and is now sidelined with a virus.
We've got Victory 4 just passing one of the turn buoys. You can see how he's floating. He's got it trimmed well out. The air is lifting the boat up. All they're relying on is the back end in the water. This is Ken Thorne doing exactly the same thing. He's got the air under the hull and he's just floating across the top of the water.
But still, this the race leader. You can see now the difference between first and second. So about, let's give or take a bit, 1 mile an hour in top speed, not a lot in it. Both Lamborghini, as Richard said, both 4-speed electronic gearboxes. The only difference between these boats will be the subtle difference they made in the propellers at the 11th hour. And in fact, the Jolly Motor crew were looking to change their propellers just before the off and cause huge protestation from the rest of the drivers, and they were denied the opportunity to do that. This is the third place boat, Victory 4, the white surround on the cockpit, the brand new boat designed and built by Mike Peters using the Tenkara design, but actually assembled in Dubai, is proving to be good. Second time out in this boat, and they're beginning to get a bit of time in it.
Here we have Victory 7 running extremely well today. Ali Nasser and Brandy Schism. And now we have Bilbo. Now this is the boat that's got the problem with the port or the left-hand engine. I can see black smoke coming out with the water, and I suspect that that is a turbocharger problem. It looked like it when he went down to the start and might explain why he's running so slow.
Brazil retiring, in trouble then. The Italian and Brazilian pairing, in fact both Italians in there, Brazil out of it again, so they won't do anything to enhance their championship standings. Race leader, Jolly Motor, positively flying through the air, picking up the front, the stern, driving them on, those rudders just touching the water enough. Throttle down, Bilbao at the other end of the course, half a lap adrift Bilbao, the big red boat that has won every single pole position race in the championship so far, lead the pole position championship with a maximum, but they don't seem able to deliver. This boat going well though, Victory 4, and I think the man in there, Kalfan Harib, having won a championship back in 1993 at this level, would dearly like to get going again in this boat. They actually turned to the Americans for the technology because they felt they were losing the edge, and it certainly is going well. They're in third. Race leader, Jolly Motor, Spirit of Norway, going very wide to the right-hand side of your screen, taking the wide turn. Of course, Richard, tight turns aren't always the answer because you have to scrub off so much speed.
Absolutely. I'm not so certain that wasn't a wide turn that he did out of choice. It was a wide turn that he had to make because there was so much wash and he didn't want to take the dirty water. Jolly Motors, when I spoke to him earlier, said we want to be in the lead right from the very beginning. It's a very narrow course and we'll get the clean water. He's said that's what he wanted to do, and as you can see, he's doing it. He's sliding that boat beautifully around the turn. He scrubs off about 25 to 30 miles an hour, goes round the turn, down go the throttles, and off he goes. Look at that, floating across. Steve Curtis on the throttles. He's just floating the boat absolutely to its limits. You can see the two stepped hulls, the two little notches to the right of the letter 10. The stepped hulls reduces the wetted surface,